Good evening and Happy New Year. I'm Mayor Figueroa, and I'm calling this regular meeting of the City of the University Place Council for Monday, January 6, 2025 to order. And with that, we'll do the roll call. Will the clerk start?
Yes, Mayor. Councilmember Boykin.
Here.
Councilmember Worthington.
Present.
Councilmember McCluskey.
I'm here.
Councilmember Fleming.
Here.
Councilmember Grassi.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Wood.
Present.
Mayor Figueroa.
Present.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
And thank you. And will Councilmember McCluskey give us the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes, sir. Everybody please stand. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please take your seat.
Okay, moving on to number 4, approval of agenda. May I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved. Second.
Are there any objections to approving the agenda? Seeing none, the agenda is approved. And item number 5, presentation. We have the NATOA Awards. And I'm not sure, I'll just mention them here, or I'm going to do it down there because we have the awards down there. And I need a mic. So I'm going to go rogue and go from the bottom up. So, sorry. NATOA, just for those that aren't familiar with that in the public on air, is that NATOA is a national association made up of individuals and organizations responsible for or advising those responsible for communications policies, services, and local governments throughout the country. Their mission is to support and serve the communications interests and the needs of local governments. And so we have a UP, University Place TV team that is made up of Amanda Kilber and Linda Sees, our city staff. Would you come up, please? We also have another member of the UP TV, and that is Dave Kelman, and I don't think he is here, so, okay. So don't be bashful, come on up here. So these are top awards. I'm going to let either Amanda or Linda, whoever chooses, to talk a little bit more about what these awards are. There's 6 total awards, Council, and they go from 2 awards of excellence, that's the highest honor, and this again, national awards, and then 2 awards of distinction and 2 awards of honor. And so I'll let Linda Sees, our communications director, to start with explaining, how do you get selected, what's the meaning and all that.
Well, there you go. We do a lot of shows for UPTV and some various shows for our social media, and we enter those into this award system, which is the NATOA award system, National Association of Telecom Officials and Advisors. Since it's national, for us it's pretty big to win. We've won before, but this year was a big year for us, and so we're pretty excited about it. It's all the states have the opportunity, all the various cities, organizations, jurisdictions. There's a lot of people who enter, so a lot of competition. And for us to come home with 2 awards of excellence was pretty huge, and 2 awards of distinction and 2 awards of honor. So we're very excited about it. I particularly am excited because the 2 awards of excellence and 1 of the awards of distinction are for the UP Vet Memorial, which I will let Amanda talk about. I can't say enough about Amanda and Dave's work on that video. That was their project, and it brought home 3 awards this year, and it's a big deal. If you haven't had a chance to see it, we encourage you to go out. Amanda, did you want to say something about the Vet Plaza?
Like she mentioned, Dave Kelman was integral in making this video happen. He's definitely the wizard behind the scenes, but this video was so special to us because it got to highlight a group of people do amazing work in this community with the support of council and the community at large. It was a really wonderful project that came with a lot of volunteer efforts, donated materials, and we had a pretty devastating loss in the middle of it as well, with one of those key members passing away. And so it was a really great video to get to honor them, honor veterans who have served and will continue to serve, and we were just really excited we got to share that on a national scale.
Real quick, the two awards of excellence, which is the highest honor, one was under the category of partnership production, and the other one was profile of an organization. And I have to tell you, I think Councilmember Fleming and I and Councilmember Worthington have been to NATOA. Anybody else here, council members? Okay. You folks know how competitive it is. And what's really interesting about this, I was there this last time, and the table that these ladies were at was kind of Pierce County and a few other, and Seattle. That table, it was almost, I felt bad actually, because that table was full. At the end of the awards presentation there, it was so full, and many tables without, and some tables just one or two, that it was like, I wanted it, I wanted to share those awards with somebody, but it is competition, and they chose these awards for our region, and we feel really proud to have been, we have great people in communications in this area. So with that, the other two awards of distinction, and that one of them was of course, the UP Vet Plaza. The category was documentary, and then State of the City, which is the State of the City. I'll let you guys talk a little bit more about either one of those. The other two awards of honor is the UP Garden Tour, and was a category profile of a resident, and that resident was Lee Garden. And then Meet UP Police Chief Burke. You're a famous dude. Is a profile of a city, county employee. And you're a great actor. You should go into Hollywood because everybody liked your face. But there are awards of honor, and I think we all should feel very proud to be to have staff that not only works hard and takes the time, but the expertise that between Amanda and Linda and Dave, highly regarded as far as staff in this area of communication. Any more you'd like to say?
I think you did a great job. If you haven't got a chance to see those other videos, though, the State of the City and the UP Lee Garden and the police chief one, those are all out on our YouTube channel. So we encourage you to go out and check out the city's YouTube channel. You can watch all the videos you want.
Okay, that was an ad for her. No. So I'm going to present these officially to you.
And we're going to let Amanda hold the brown ones.
Okay. This is the 2024 Government Program and Awards from NATOA, Award of Excellence. And so for the Veterans Plaza. And which one is this? For the partnership production for the Veterans Plaza as well. Got it? Okay. And then these two.
One is for the Veterans Plaza, but I'm going to hold it.
Okay. There we go. This is for the Veterans Plaza. And this is for the Award of Distinction for the State of the City. Okay. So thank you so much for representing us. Fine work. Thank you. Oh.
you.
Okay, so we're now on to public comments, and the city clerk just informed me there was no one online, and if there's anybody here presently from the public that would like to provide comments, please come forward. None? Coming forward, so I'll close the public comments at this time. We'll move on to item number 7, which is the consent agenda. I have a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Mayor, I move to approve the consent agenda as proposed.
Second.
Is there anybody objecting to approving the consent agenda? Hearing and seeing none, the motion passes unanimously. So we will move on to item number 8, city manager and council comments and reports. And so, Mr. Sutton.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. The last time we met was before the council, the annual and final event of the year. It was a grand celebration on Market Square, and I believe that it was nice that the weather was cooperating. We had great attendance, and it was great to see all the council there. Well attended. I don't have an account of the number of people that attended it, but it was quite impressive, and it was a great event and a great way to cap off the year. I've got other things to report on, but I'll wait till the council goals report a little later on the meeting.
Thank you. And since it's a new year, I'd like to just have people raise their hand when they're ready to give the report, and we'll start whoever would like to do so. Okay.
I'll go first.
First taker, Councilmember McCluskey.
All right. Thank you, Mayor, and Happy New Year. Looking forward to 2025. We have some exciting things to accomplish in 2025 and 2026, but especially 2025. To lay the groundwork, I know there are some indications that the outside economies may not be as enriched, but our city looks like we're shipshape and ready to go forward, and also to look at how we can internally design our city for a better living experience for all. I think the tree lighting went really well. It was extremely well attended. It was pretty much shoulder to shoulder. Everybody had a great time. There's a lot of different venues to explore. Of course, the main dude arrived on the fire truck, Santa Claus. And so that was a event that always, Christmas time with this decorations always bring a lot of sparkle and happiness and joy. And I think we captured that in the tree lighting event. I'd like to thank the communications team personally as a council member for being, once again, as always, nationally recognized. Whether they take home one or a plethora of awards, they have always done an extremely outstanding job. They had a professional edge to all of our communications, and also, even with nervous laymen, that they try to capture and create some sort of communication to our citizens. They make us look very polished at the end of the day. So I, as a council member, appreciate that. So kudos to all your good work, and I'm glad that you are nationally recognized. It is well deserved. Thank you.
Councilmember Fleming.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and likewise, Happy New Year's to everyone. I'll be brief tonight. I just wanted to echo, Steve, your comments about the Christmas celebration we had here at University Place, and what Councilmember McCluskey had referred to also. Stellar job. I mean, every citizen I talked to that night said this is the one event of the year that they so much look forward to, and really, you know, with the tree lighting and with the festivities and the interaction that people had, it was just super 5-star all around. And my greatest concern right now is, how are we going to hold this in a couple of years when there is no more room here at the town center? So, gosh, I hope we're thinking about that one, because we are rapidly running out of space to host our community at an event like that. Mayor had alluded to also on turning to NATOA. For council members who haven't had the opportunity to experience that national conference, if you get a chance, certainly would encourage you to do so. They choose different venues throughout each year to host that. It is a national recognized. It's the equivalent of the Emmy Awards when you're looking at government television, and to see the turnout, to see the excitement, to see the competition, it is impressive. It really is impressive to be able to go and experience that whole thing. So for University Place and UPTV to bring home that many awards in 1 year, that's, you know, I know you can't really get the sense of it, you know, here in the chamber or in our presentations here, but that's a big deal. It's a very big deal. So again, kudos to Linda and the staff and everyone who works so hard throughout the year to make that programming work for our citizens. And it's not only informative, it's entertainment, it's educational, and it's all wrapped into one. So certainly 5 stars to them for that. So excited about 2025, looking forward to an exciting year. We've got a lot of things to work through the agenda this year, and just happy to be a part of it. So thank you.
Councilmember Grassi.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to say Happy New Year to my colleagues in our city that are watching. I'm so excited for 2025 and honored to serve our community this year. So thank you. Thank you. I want to echo the sentiments of my colleagues. The Christmas tree lighting was impeccable, and truly so many hours of work and behind the scenes planning from our team and staff. Thank you for putting that together. And again, congratulations to our communications team. You know, we do such great work, and I think it just showcases so well how much our team cares and puts excellence forward. So thank you for putting University Place at the top of so many people's list. Over the Christmas break, I had the opportunity to be with the mayor as we officially cut the ribbon for Five Guys, and that was an exciting day. So I want to encourage people to visit Five Guys if you haven't already here in Town Center. And then this afternoon, Councilmember Worthington and I were able to cut the ribbon at Nirvana Salon and Spa in our 27th Street Business District. It actually is their 1-year anniversary today. So they have a wonderful salon and spa there on 27th, and congratulations to Alex and the team for a successful year. It's not easy. So I just want to say thank you to all of our business owners that are watching and listening. You are so valued in our community and really the backbone of our community. So thank you for that. Like my colleagues, looking forward to 2025 and all that we're going to accomplish together on behalf of our citizens and move forward on our goals. We have big, audacious goals, and I think that we have the right team to accomplish those for our community. So I'm looking forward to that. And then I also want to welcome in chambers tonight Riley Jennison. Please stand, Riley. He is a senior from Covenant High School here on assignment and University Place resident. My handsome nephew, look at him, he works at Chick-fil-A and is a wonderful asset in our community. So thank you for being here, and we're excited for your senior year. And so it's always fun to see young people in chambers and excited about student government. And so thanks for being here tonight.
Yeah. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor. Again, I'll echo the comments about the Christmas celebration and also our NATOA awards. I won't go into great detail, but just awesome job on both. Thank you for doing that. I'm going to talk briefly about, I actually had a real meeting in December with the Pierce County Climate Commission. And I'll cover it briefly, but the key points of this is there was a discussion on tree canopy. We actually had a panel discussion which included the esteemed Kevin Brisky from the City of University Place, who was part of that panel, and we had a discussion about trees and the idea of tree canopy, and discovered a few things. That University Place actually had a tree goal as part of our comprehensive plan before it was cool to have a goal on trees. So we've had that. It's not a specific numbers goal like some folks, but just that we consider them to be an important part of our community. We had an interesting discussion when it got into potentially competing goals, such as, we need housing versus trees. Do you cut down trees to put in housing? Or, so that got entertaining for a little bit as well, too. So that was the tree portion. And then we had a presentation by the Association of Washington Cities regarding, they just received a $4 million energy audit grant. And this is for cities to do an energy audit survey of their Tier 1 and Tier 2 buildings in accordance with the Clean Building Act of, I want to say, 2019. I'm not quite sure. The key point is that any building greater than 20,000 square feet is supposed to have be audited sometime in the next, I want to say, 2 to 3 years to see if it meets clean building standards for the state. AWC has a grant to help pay for those audits. So I don't know what our city's plan is for that. But if that is something we need to do, I know this is a nice new building. Hopefully it meets the standards already anyway. But any building that's city-owned, greater than 20,000 square feet, will need to get this audit done at some point soon, and the money's available. Now, they also have to do a report out to the state legislature by December of this year about estimated costs for cities to come into compliance with the Clean Building Act standards for, again, public infrastructure. This applies to all buildings, both public and private. But the AWC grant specifically focuses on public-owned infrastructure. And so I can send out the slides from that meeting. I've got those. If you folks are interested, I'll happily send them out to you. But that's all I've got to report, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so if Councilmember Boykin.
Thank you, Mayor. And of course, Happy New Year to everyone as well. And obviously to my colleagues who are always working hard on behalf of the city of University Place, its residents, as well as its citizens. I absolutely had a wonderful time at the tree lighting reception effort in 2024. To me, it's about also my faith, so Merry Christmas was on full display. I absolutely enjoyed the engagement and the excitement, and the numbers were far too many to count, but certainly noteworthy, and I'm looking forward to our next engagement. Wanted to also acknowledge I didn't have nearly as much fun, but I certainly had as much information that I could have when I got the opportunity to be part of lunch with the chief, and I was here with many of council members to recognize that it's always good to watch Chief Burke engage and do his thing, as well as his officers that serve so well. So it was really informative. So I just would encourage you, if you ever get an opportunity to engage, and that's what it's really about for us, seeing different ways to help resident citizens engage, please take advantage of it. You've got some folks here who care very deeply, and it shows up in their service. Also wanted to call out the 16th Cab Holiday Celebration reception. For me, I thought it was just one more way in which the city just steps forward and honors the folks that constantly honor us in service and in behavior. And so it was just good to be among, one more time, the annual celebration in that regard. And just want to thank Council for being so thoughtful, and Mr. Mayor, appreciate your remarks, specifically as you always show up well, and particularly for the 16th Cab. Wanted to also acknowledge the myriad of public official receptions that had taken place, that participated in with the chamber, as well as with other local organizations and impactful, really impactful, invested people who really want to have conversations to always help move the needle on behalf of our residents, move the needle on behalf of elevating the city of University Place. And those types of conversations you just cannot put a value on. And then lastly, want to affirm one more time the just excellent performance and outstanding manner in which the City of University Place comms team have shown up, well regarded, nationally acknowledged. And now you understand firsthand one more time why we are thrilled about the service that we get from this communications team. So it's always a pleasure, always an honor to serve in the City of University Place, but just reminded specifically over the events that we had in December up to now and the recognition from the folks who served you well, that it is just really good to be part of the City of University Place. That's my report, Mr. Mayor.
Excellent. Councilmember Worthington.
Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you, Mayor Figueroa. A few quick things, and of course, we've talked quite a bit tonight about the tree lighting. Not enough, though. It was spectacular. So, and a great point for our community, and glad to be part of it, and proud to be associated with it as well. As was mentioned, I had the opportunity to go to the ribbon cutting with Nirvana salon this afternoon. Councilmember Grassi did a great job welcoming folks, and it's an impressive array of equipment and different treatments. In any case, something I think for everyone. But and really well done. And Alex did a great job with that. I look forward to hearing more about their success. Likewise, we had a great event for the 16th Cab. Appreciated the Sapporo restaurant folks helping to host that, and it was great seeing our troops there relaxed and a chance to honor their service and just meet them as individuals as well. That was fun. So it's been a great holiday season as we get ready to get back into our regular routine. I've enjoyed the work and wish everyone a happy new year. And particularly wanted to thank our communications team with our Natoa Awards. Those are outstanding, as they are. And they help us understand that other people recognize the value and the talent that they have, that we see every day and others get to see during those award events. I have been to those, and it is a competitive environment, but we always seem to shine, and this year we shine particularly bright, so appreciate those comments and those awards. The RCC, I think I mentioned last time, but just to be sure, RCC, the Radio Communications Commission that oversees the operation of the organization that we partner with for our television services, has a new president. I am proud to say that the council member has stepped up, and Councilmember Hutchins is going to be is now the chair, or president, I think is the right term. And in any case, she'll be leading that. I think I reported out on that, and I'm stepping away from that position. But I've enjoyed doing that for some 4 years, and it was time for someone else to be able to bring their expertise in. I think that covers it all. And again, wish everybody a Happy New Year. Thank you.
Okay. Final comments here. Well, seriously, it is a Happy New Year. We're all here to be seen and be heard, and that's always a good day. And so the Christmas tree. On the serious side, our city manager has mentioned a couple of times to me about the need of having a new tree. This one's been kind of used up. So, Mr. Sugg, at the point that you and your staff are getting close to deciding what that looks like and all that, would you give us a report, an update, and maybe allow us to provide some feedback on the tree? And then, talking about the tree lighting event, it's really, really amazing to see so many people. And at the end of the event, I stayed to the end. I started interviewing single people, young people, people of age, families. I think I did about maybe 8 or 10 interviews where I sat down and introduced myself, and I said, I'd just like to ask you a few questions about the event. And I didn't hear one negative comment, number one. Not that I was a big pulse of the thousands that were there, but I think it was a pulse of a variety of folks. And I did ask them if they were UP residents versus non-UP residents. They were all UP. I couldn't believe that. I actually picked. I was lucky enough to pick because that was my main target. Well, let me share just some quick comments. We love the way it was laid out. We loved, even though, because I did ask, what about, because it was so crowded, how does that make you feel? They said, it was fun. There was a lot of energy. That's the word they used. There was a lot of energy that was created by the crowd, but it wasn't a rude crowd. It was a friendly crowd. A lot of families here. The food, the ability to go to different food establishments around, whether it be the food trucks or the hamburger place or the pizza place and things like that. So they enjoyed the way the Santa, everybody, especially the 3 families that I interviewed, thanked me for having the city having the Santa Claus and all that for the families. So overall, it was just really positive. A couple of them mentioned that they didn't see, and they came to being, they didn't see people being rude at all in any way, shape, or form, and they liked that they didn't see any incidents. I guess places that some people go to, you can have incidents happen, and they liked that they didn't have to deal with that while they were enjoying the Christmas lighting. So those are some of the comments. I think that Councilmember Fleming is correct. We have to probably somewhere or another, we can't stretch it out. I don't know what we will do, but I think at some point we could be too crowded. It becomes uncomfortable. I think we need to be ahead of that. And before people complain and say, this is uncomfortable, there's a little incidence here because too many people, whatever that may be, I think we should be ahead of that, and so that we don't get to the point that people are complaining and then we're doing that, or something happens. 16 Cab, what a reception. Mainly because it was the senior officers of the brigades, battalions, and battalion commanders and their command sergeant majors. And it was really just unbelievable that, number one, most of these were new to the 16th Brigade. And so they're not used to this. They said, we've done this before, we belong to others, but we've never been invited to a reception by a city and fed. So they really enjoyed it. The commanders also knew. So I think it was very well done, and thank you, Mr. Sugg and Marion, for setting that up. But the goodwill that we established by the commander, which I can tell you that he speaks to many other commanders, along with the commanding officer of JBLM, and it's good to know that they have something to say to the commander. If they get asked, what do you think about this community connector? You do anything happening? And this is where it leads to where he said, he has something to say positively about his connection, their connection with the city. So that was really nice. And lastly, about the receptions that we attended in December, the realtors reception, public officials reception, as well as the Chamber of Commerce reception. I think, and I've attended a lot of them over the past 15 years, and I can tell you that both of these were a change-up in venue and a change-up on, it seemed to be a lot more activity, a lot more conversation, a lot less cliques of those small gatherings of folks. It was more open, it seemed like. And as always, as going around talking to folks, without being solicited, it was really nice to hear this, University Place. I really like coming to University Place. I mean, I think I got that 6, 8 times. And I said, why? I said, well, they said different things. Well, you got Whole Foods, you got Trader Joe's. I like the lighting down the street. I like the cleanliness. I mean, it was just a variety of different things. So I didn't get any and both receptions, I talked to quite a few. I didn't get anyone that looked at my name and my badge and said, wow, you guys need to do this. You need to do that or correct that. I didn't get one. And believe me, public officials can get pretty open about what they say. So anyway, very good news, positive reaction. And I'm proud to be part of University Place and on the council. So happy to be here. Okay. So we'll move on to the study session, and what we have is a 2023-2024 council goals final report. Mr. Sugg, our city manager, will do the report. Let me just say a few words before he starts, and that is what I asked for from staff, Steve Sugg, was that we should be in the beginning of the year. We closed out the end of 24, 23, 24, and we went through it, and to the end of the year, this is the first meeting. I thought it would be appropriate to have a complete report of that final report, what got done, and those that were incorporated into our new 25-26 goals that will continue to be worked on per council request. So, Mr. Sugg.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. In July of 2022, Council approved Resolution 978, which adopted 6 goals for the 2023-2024 biennium. Those 6 goals included public safety, infrastructure, economic development, recreation, community engagement, and regional influence. Tonight is an opportunity for me to highlight for the public, because I know Council has seen much of this before in various forms, but it's an opportunity to highlight for the public the items that I believe were the most significant accomplishments that the city achieved probably in many years, and especially in a few significant areas. So with that, I'm going to, on the screen, and there's a little bit of delay on this clicker. Let's see. Well, no, it's working. Our first goal, and Council's most important goal at that time, was putting this stake in the ground and say we need to do something about public safety, and certainly there was a lot of accomplishments in that area, starting with the public safety levy, which was approved in spring of 2023 by the voters. As a result of that, the public saw increased visibility patrols along Bridgeport Way, especially in the commercial corridors and other areas, in dealing with things like shoplifting and the like. A number of, as well as traffic, and we saw very quickly increased efforts and increased results. And that third item, the council said they wanted a community outreach officer, which was promised to the voters and was delivered. Corey Shears, who used to be one of our sergeants, when he retired, he came back to us as the community outreach officer, and immediately, within a matter of months, he was dealing with things like encampments and abandoned autos and auto tags and graffiti complaints and citizen concerns, and just getting out there, and you can't miss his vehicle, his truck. And you've seen the photos of that. And then, of course, the new police contract, and I would say that is one of the most significant accomplishments the city has achieved in many years. We've attempted to do something for many years in this area, and the council, kept their focus. A multi-year effort led to a new police contract, which allowed us to add police officers to our force, something we've been trying to do for many, many years. And the first 4 officers out of 8 arrived in early November of 2024, and significantly increasing our capacity on each shift. But we're not done yet. We have another additional 4 officers, commissioned officers, that will be arriving this year. Let me go on and to the next goal, infrastructure. There's several slides on infrastructure, and we'll take these in categories. This one is Cirque Park, the city's most significant park. It's a 22-acre park. The land was purchased shortly after cityhood and improved in phases, and now it's a real gem in the region. Not only for our residents, but we have outside sports teams and sports leagues across the region that love to play here if they can, and reserve space on those fields. It's a great place. The Cirque Park also has multiple functions. It serves as a wonderful skate park location, which has done tremendously well over the years. And this year, we did a major improvement to that with taking temporary ramps and making them permanent with use of real concrete, and which you can see in some of these photos. So that was important. Field and light repairs, but there's more coming. The green boxes on this slide indicate the things that are underway, which is the Cirque site plan study, Cirque Park site plan study, which the council commissioned about a year, 18 months ago. And that's coming to a conclusion, and you're going to get a report on that in the first quarter of 2025 here by Public Works Director Jack Eklund. The playground construction is the last item, but it's certainly not the least. It's a significant item. It's both our playground and our original planned playground, but on top of that, we were the site of the inclusive playground location, which again is going to become a regional destination, and it's currently under construction. It looks almost done. It should be done and ready for ribbon cutting sometime this spring. So again, Cirque Park is continuing to be a place where people want to be, and it's going to attract even more folks. So we'll again, a couple of those green boxes are not insignificant items, and we'll be coming back to you with focused reports on those particular items. Goal 2 is infrastructure or other parks. We have other great parks. They're smaller and boutique parks, but they serve the community and neighborhoods that surround those. And the reason I put that picture of an apple tree, which is an actual tree within the city of University Place in Curran Park. Those beautiful apples were made possible by an irrigation system, in part, that our city crew members made adjustments to make it function better, because without water on a hot, dry summer, you don't get a crop of apples that look like that. And there's other things that you need to do. You need to spray for pests and so forth, and I just signed the contract for 2025, by the way, so we should have the spray program underway. The reason I put this photo up here, and I'm so proud of this, is that the city crew members that worked on that irrigation system saved us $250,000 over what we were planning to spend to replace that system with a completely new design, contractor-built system. They were able to figure out how to get increased performance out of the existing system, and I'd say that's a win for the city. That's a win for the residents. It's a win for our budget, which it helps our financial stability that much more. So that's the reason I put that photo up there, because I thought that was amongst all the other parks which are I could have photos and information on each one of those. Kobe is continuing to be a destination, especially on those hot summer days and other days as well during the various seasons. It's a world unto its own. It's a special place that you only find in grand parks, major state or national parks. We've got our own little version of that in the canyon, Chambers Creek Canyon. So we did some paving down there to make that driveway more accessible and safer to get in and out of there, and built a wall along there that the crew did. We increased parks maintenance staffing, which has long been a goal, because as we improve our parks, we have more to maintain, whether it's shelters or whether it's the turf, it's ball fields and other sundry items. Your commissions, the Parks Advisory Commission and the Public Safety Commission met to talk about how to improve Kobayashi safety for the benefit of those users of that park. And they came up with some ideas, and they reported to you at the end of last year when they gave their commission reports. And they're going to be coming forward they're going to be working on implementing some of those recommendations, but stay tuned. There'll be more information coming on that. And Sunset Terrace, of course, and Current had some additional work, which is currently underway with a fence replacement out there. I believe I think it's a split rail fence. I don't think it's just any ordinary fence.
Yes,
so it's more in keeping with the aesthetic of that beautiful park. But we're not done on infrastructure. Infrastructure continues on. The city is a lot about what the city does. The city has lots of public rights of ways. It has the parks, all these things that are under city ownership and jurisdiction and care and nurture. Takes a lot of combined effort from all the departments, including my department, finance, and all the administrative services departments, to make our streets look like that. This is a photo on that screen of 35th Street, just outside City Hall here, from 67th to Bridgeport, which was completed a few months back. That came on the heels of the Chambers Creek Road improvement project, which was done in a very similar fashion between Bridgeport and Charles Wright Academy, complete with a signalized pedestrian crosswalk. So those two projects alone have added, I forget the number of feet or miles to our over 50 miles of sidewalk and bike lane network that we have in the city of University Place. Someday from Jack, I'll get an actual number. I asked Jack, just give me a safe ballpark number, and he says it's in excess of 50. He says, well, when you get down, sometime when you get to count it all or measure it, let me know. I like to have a real number, but it's over 50, he tells me. But we're not done yet. By the way, these two first projects, the check boxes, are federally grant-funded projects. The community has been the beneficiary of the work that our engineering team has done to solicit and secure and apply for and compete for grants, both at the state and the federal level, against very worthy competitors, and brought that money here to University Place and applied it and built several $100 million worth of transportation improvement projects that look like this. We built a traffic model, and sometime we want to demonstrate that for you, because the traffic model is the sophistication of traffic models, because my background is in engineering, but they didn't look like that when I was doing work. So, but the traffic models that they have available that you can put on screen and demonstrate in real time the traffic that's going through a particular intersection, and you can simulate various things. So I'll have Jack present that to you. Parking meters out here in our first set of parking meters in University Place in the city, and the only set is right outside this building. You know, they're so far so good. We are coming back with a report to council indicating the things that you wanted to learn about on the performance of those meters, how they're working for the businesses. So stay tuned. We're going to bring back a report to you on that. And then, as you can see, there's a number of items. We're never done with infrastructure. That engineering department is extremely busy on transportation. And you can see 35th Street from Grandview to Bridgeport is underway. You heard all about that one before Christmas. We are, they're still going to continue work during the winter, but it's just going to be slower going, and then it will tend to pick up and accelerate during the spring. 60 and then 67th Avenue is doing pretty well. They moved that project along pretty well, and I love the paving job that the contractor did. It's some of the nicest pavement we've seen in a long time. It's nice to see that overlay. And you see the ADA work and planning for street grids in Kevin's department in community and economic development. As Kevin and his team work on these district plans, we're looking at how street grids can make it possible for the redevelopment of those areas to occur that benefits benefits business, the residents, and the surrounding areas and neighborhoods. We wanted to make sure it's the best and most livable and walkable areas that we possibly can. We were involved in Complete Streets before Complete Streets even became a national term and a focus. And so we have a leg up on that. It's not to brag at all, but I'd say that we have we have a deep knowledge on our team of how to do livable, safe streets and neighborhoods. And so I'm going to be excited about not just the street grids, but what happens along those grids. So stay tuned. Kevin's got more presentations on that, especially with the 27th District Plan going to be coming to you soon. That's being finalized, Kevin, here's pretty soon. So I'm excited to see where that goes. All right, so probably the most unique and maybe significant thing that the council did in 2024 was to approve the prioritization of ARPA funds for sewers. And this is probably this has maybe been a 25-year goal of the city to do something about unsewered areas in the city. The council's decision, again, to prioritize ARPA funds allowed us to put out to bid, and the council awarded bids for 5 neighborhoods that that are either have or are at risk of failing septic systems. That will allow those neighborhoods to see a future that without this wouldn't otherwise be possible. So that is a significant project, and it deserves its own slide. And I'm very proud to put this up here because I know there was a big discussion by council as to how you apply. Talk about putting your crowbar in the right place. I mean, ARPA funds, you could have spent those ARPA funds in many different ways. And the council said, no, we want to do something about sewers. This has been a long sought after goal. We have, this is one shot. We have one opportunity to make a significant difference. And so I'm very proud of what the council did. And then ultimately, at the end of the year, awarded a bid, and we'll start to see the contractor mobilize in those neighborhoods, and that'll be exciting. By the way, a shout out to the engineering department again. That was largely designed by our in-house team, along with Gray and Osborne. We didn't have the complete capacity, but we have a crack team that's capable of doing some very good plans. And the bids were very tight, which means that the plans, it's usually a signal that your plans are in good shape when you have tight bids. When there's great variation, you got to worry, because if there's someone that underbids it, they're expecting to get, potentially to get their money back through change orders because they found some errors in the plan. That's not the case here, knock on wood. But we think that the plans were really well done. And again, Jack, Nuri, and their team of engineers, impressive group. 67, we'll have that was awarded earlier in the year, and that will it's a little bit slow on the construction, but we'll be bringing you updates on that. And then 57th Avenue sewer under design, but that'll be brought forward to you for approval. This has been a banner year, 2024 for 2023 and 2024 for sanitary sewer work in the city of University Place. Unlike any other year that I can remember, it was always plans. We kept doing plans and memos and reports and studies, and they sit on the shelf in the hope that one day we might be able to build something. And 2024 was the year where we were able to, the council was able to apply the funds necessary to move the ball forward. So exciting about this, to give you reports on that. Goal 3 is economic development. And I put the picture up, the graphic of the Northeast Business District plan, because that's the first business district that the council said we want to transform. There's 3 business districts in the city of University Place: the Northeast District, the 27th District, which extends from Morrison to Grandview. The Northeast District is Mildred, wrapping around on 27th to Morrison, and then 27th is Morrison to Grandview. And then the Town Center District is 27th to Kevin Cirque. Okay. So that encompasses almost all of your commercial business corridors within University Place. There's some pockets out near Orchard. Mm-hmm. But in terms of the contiguous and most significant commercial corridor, that's where it is. Well, the Northeast District, the OTAC consultant plan, well done. Planning Commission put a lot of work into that with staff, presented their findings. The council had lots of good feedback. The report was finalized, and eventually it was adopted. And that sits there, and it's being used along with the form-based code that the council approved more than 2 years back, so it doesn't qualify for this biennium. But the form-based code, combined with these plans, essentially signals to the outside development world, the investors, those that are looking for opportunities, that we've got our act together and we've got a plan, and this is where you can see the kinds of returns that you need as a business enterprise. And we can, but if you're going to come here and invest, we want you to invest in our vision as well. So the council boldly put a statement out there through this plan that this is our vision for what we want to see, and it sets a pretty high bar for the outside development world. But it also lets those developers know that if you come in, that you're going to have that someone's not going to undercut the quality that you want to bring, because we're going to require everyone to bring that level of quality here, not just one or this developer versus this developer. So as these districts develop, again, the Northeast is there. I'm not saying that this one will develop first, although it did develop. The Alta project is up and running and pretty well leased, and it's several hundred units. Outside developer, national developer from Atlanta. They do work in downtown Portland and major cities across the United States. They came in here and developed a basically, as you know, a theater site, former cinema, AMC Cinema, which was boarded up in a large vacant parking lot, and it was a public safety concern for us. That has been transformed. It's not the public safety concern. That public safety concern has gone away. But it's not done yet. There's a lot of land out there. There's a lot of different entities and parcels, and we'll talk about that at some other time. But I wanted to tell you that this Northeast District Plan and then was significant. The 27th District is going to be a very significant discussion with the Council. The Planning Commission has spent a lot of time on this one, and we're excited to bring that one forward. And Kevin brought you the wayfinding signs. So now people coming into UP, whether they're coming to our events like our tree lighting, or they're coming to shop here at Whole Foods or Trader Joe's, or coming to a restaurant, that they can find their way around, and they know where they are in the various districts. And so Council spent several study sessions determining what the appropriate signage that they wanted to have that really states that this is University Place. And I'm excited to see that those are currently under design, Kevin, and I believe they're going to be built here in the not too distant future here.
Contractor's under contract and he's going to start construction this year.
Okay, so stay tuned. There's a lot of exciting things coming up. And then the Town Center Business District Plan is the third and final plan for you, but we're just getting underway on that, and the Council approved the consultant contract, if you remember, back in the fall. We spoke about Five Guys. I think some of the council members spoke about the Five Guys. Was the last ribbon cutting of the year, so they're listed down as that last one. This is a list of all the ribbon cuttings that occurred in University Place during 2024. New businesses, storefronts. We also had home-based businesses, but the businesses that you'll see in these commercial corridors and so forth, this is the list. I show See's Candies because the photo of See's Candies, I know many of you attended. I was there as well. It was a beautiful day. The Curtis cheerleaders were there, and the band, and it was a very festive. The president of See's flew up for that along with his team. It was significant. They decided to put one of their anchor store for the Pierce County in our center, and I'm so pleased about that because it's not every day that happens. When a See's Candies comes, it's like it's a mini anchor or junior anchor, but it's still a significant destination. So it's a beautiful store inside. They did a wonderful job, but there's more, and you can see the list there. Also, while it's not their first rodeo, Trader Joe's celebrated their 20th anniversary in December. And I know many of the council members were there. I was there. It was significant in that Trader Joe's in 2004 chose University Place to place their store. One store in Pierce County they chose here, and they've been successful and thriving ever since. I believe their store volume, according to the store manager, is close to the top of economic performance in Washington State, Pacific Northwest. But it's continued to perform year after year after year. And when they first opened, I remember I was hearing that people were driving from Ocean Shores coming in here every couple of weeks to stock up at Trader Joe's before I believe they put one in Olympia. So that took care of that group. But this is how crazy it is and how the following that they have significant. Goal 4, moving on to recreation, it was one of your goals for youth recreation, and that's the one that's still green boxes. We're working on, we've briefed you before, we're in the state, we're currently in the process of negotiating interlocal agreements agreements with both University Place School District for the facilities, use of facilities they have, and the City of Faircrest, which operates a wonderful set of recreation programs, to be able to bring recreation for youth into University Place. So I do want to let you know that as we've been briefing you individually, that my partner here, City Attorney Matt Kaiser, and his team have been negotiating with their counterparts at those two locations, to School District and Faircrest, to develop an agreement that will work for all the parties. And that's pretty much all I want to say about that, Matt. Is there anything else?
That's all we were going to say.
Okay, all right. Got it, all right. Community engagement, we spoke about events, and then all the things that that go into, that the communication team does, which is many more lists, but there's things that you wanted to see between the lines. Newsletter goes out, which was introduced during the biennium. They've really put analytics on turbo. We've got a content creator added to the team, which has just enhanced our ability to put those Instagram reels out, which are doing wonderfully. The e-newsletter, the flash vote surveys, and so forth. The events, again, there's 17 events, but 5 of those are the current Orchard concerts. We do have a co-sponsorship on that, or so there's really 12 events plus the 5 Orchard concerts, so let's call it 17 a year. And so we're at the end of the event season, so we won't see events kick off until Duck Days, first Saturday in June. You know, for our that's when our city event season kicks off. Goal 6 is our sixth and final goal is regional influence, and I'd say check the box on everything that's up there. I think this is really where council has put a lot of energy into this, attending outside commission and board meetings, sitting on boards, participating at AWC and National League of Cities, the lobbying effort at both the state and federal level in D.C., which is extremely helpful to make the case for the things that University Place needs, which in many cases is funding for our infrastructure projects, which we still have a lot to do, has been meaningful, has been greatly meaningful. So I appreciate the energy that council has put into that, because without your energy and forward leadership, it would be very difficult to keep the essentially the campaign going forward to do all these wonderful things. And then I wanted to, this is not a goal, but it's probably it's significant and worthy of mention. And that is restoring financial stability, which we've been doing, but that we took it to a new level when council said, let's repay the city's debt to the extent possible. So earlier this year, you approved, I believe it was back in June, you authorized the early repayment of $17.1 million of the city's outstanding debt, which is more than 50% of our outstanding debt. And I just note that your commitment, council's commitment to financial prudence, has provided the city with the financial strength, again, to pay off over half the city's debt and save over $4 million in interest payments. So I wanted to end on this slide because this is, while it wasn't a goal, it actually arose after you had adopted your goals, but it was an idea, it was a thought, it translated into action, and then ultimately council action, a staff study, and then council action. And so in 2026, when we're eligible to pay down that debt, we will be doing so because of council's action back in June of 2024. So that is a look back at the 23-24 goals. There's several outcome measures, those green boxes that we're still working on. And as we work on those things and bring and advance them, and when we're close to a milestone or when we hit a next milestone, we'll bring back information to you and keep you briefed on those. But Mr. Mayor and Council, I will end my report there.
Thank you. And before we go with comments and questions or clarifications, yes, I do want to comment real quick. That's a slew of work. I don't care who's, because, and not just a slew of work, but it was significant work that actually moved our city, our community forward in a very significant way. And you heard some of my comments when I hear from people about our city. That didn't happen. Those comments don't come because we were asleep at the wheel and didn't achieve certain things. But that's what happens. Just an example, Seeds Candies. They actually rented that space 3, maybe even more years, for sure, for 3 years in a row during the fall, just to see as a test. And at the end of the day, after expending that energy and time and testing, they came to a conclusion that that was the spot they wanted, that it worked for them and it would work for their profitability as well as the community and outside of our community. It's a regional designation. So to see a major company that really puts their money down on a location, they don't do it, it's just not like, well, it looks really good. It's UP, Whole Foods is here, Trader Joe's is here, and so we should move in. And that's not how they do that kind of business. They actually tested that site, specifically that site, for 3 years or more. And it proved that UP, that location, is a viable spot. That's impressive to me. It's impressive to me that so many businesses, ribbon cuttings, and again, going back to the number of goals, but also all the subset of all the work. It wasn't, I'm trying to remember where it was, where somebody was, it was the Chamber of Commerce reception. And one of the 2 public officials were talking about their goals that they weren't getting achieved. And there was a big debate, not so pretty debate, as to how that was going to be achieved and all that. As I heard that, but also as I heard your presentation, Mr. Sugg, is that we did a lot of debating here and a lot of presentation as to, and arguments, I should say, arguments as to why we should do it this way or that way and to what degree and all that. But I don't think that we ever were so far off, we were in a different planet when we were talking about our goals and how we wanted to achieve them. And so, so it says a lot for this council, and it says a lot for all those that participated, the commissioners that were there to help us, the staff, and just our community and their response with community engagement. And so, again, I've said it many times before. This is a great city to live, work, and play. So, thank you for your report. So, I'll just start with to my right, and we'll go all the way around and have comments and whatever you want to have. And we'll start with Councilmember Grassi.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, I don't think there's much I can add as far as thanks and gratitude to our wonderful team and making this happen. And there's so many people behind the scenes. Our council, as Mayor, you said, a lot of debate and thoughtful discussion, and at the end of the day to get there. But the point of the matter is that we made a lot of progress. I'm excited, as our city attorney knows, I'm excited about our youth recreation development and per your suggestion. That's all I will say. But I'm excited for 2025 to move that further down the line. But this is a point of when you look back on significant years, this will be one of them. So thank you. I want to say thank you to the hard work of ARPA dollars and getting those sewers done. 5 neighborhoods, that can't be understated or overstated enough. So thank you, everyone, for their work. I don't have anything further, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Fleming.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Steve, thanks for a great report. And to the former comments that were made, a lot's been done. What I'm looking forward to in 2025 is for those projects that can be completed to get them completed, and those that will be ongoing that obviously I'm sure at some retreat we'll come back and have further dialogue and conversation on. I do have a couple of questions that I wanted to ask. One has to do with planning on the street grids. You mentioned that Kevin was working on putting together some sort of a presentation, but I think what I'd like to know is what does it really mean when we say planning for street grids? You know, in my head, I start thinking about laying out new streets, trying to figure out how to move traffic from one end of the city to the other end. I don't know if you have a different vision or a different idea of what that is, and if so, what is it?
I'll ask Kevin to come up, but I know that I'll just give you quickly my thought on this is that what we learned over the past 20 years is that those most successful towns and cities that for residents and businesses alike are those that have a street grid density. And it has to do with the number of intersections because you disperse traffic better with a grid than when you do with just single arterials where everything, you have dead-end streets off of a single arterial and everything has to flow on 1 or 2 arterial streets. That's a very simplistic explanation, and it's better shown graphically. But I'm going to turn it to the expert, Kevin Brisky, our planning director.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council. Kevin Brisky with the Community and Economic Development Department. Yeah, the street grids we're working on with these sub-area plans, they're in each district. And just to give kind of an example that's been built and started is at the Northeast Business District, the Alta project. With that, we had them put a connection in through from 70th to Mildred. It was kind of there loosely through a parking lot previously, but now we have an actual street with sidewalks, street lights, on-street parking, and if you drive through there, you'll see people walking now safely around there. And they started a north-south portion of a street grid that would then continue with potential redevelopment in that neighborhood. Another example, and this goes back to even before the sub-area plans, is our town center street grid. Larson Lane and Drexler Drive, those were created out of a street grid that the council adopted probably well over 10, 15 years ago. And so we're looking at ways on the 27th as well on where you can get kind of these connections to help, improve hopefully the business community, the residents, walkability, and traffic through those areas. But they're tricky. They're very tricky because you have these areas that are somewhat developed out. And where do you find ways that you can try to enhance that? And it's really a long-term plan. I mean, it'll take years to really kind of get those developed out.
So, Kevin, with that said, so that we're not looking at plans, and I'm presuming we're not looking at plans in silos. We spent the last quarter of last year looking at density in the city and how we're going to accommodate increased levels of density, which translates to increased levels of density on our streets. And then we've got surrounding communities that have the same requirements we have in terms of increasing that density, which will obviously increase traffic flow through University Place, especially down Bridgeport Way. And I'm seeing that now even on Chambers Creek Road, increasing traffic. As you're modeling this and building that, are you taking into consideration how do we modify our current network of roads to accommodate that density, or are we just kind of looking at all these things separately?
That's a very, that question is very broad, I guess, because you're looking at a very holistic approach, which I think Jack would probably be the better person to explain that, because he's looking at all, with his traffic modeling, more city-wide areas. The district plans are looking a little more specifically at developments and traffic patterns in those districts. However, we do tie them together because we work with the engineers on where these would go as well, to get input from them, because they can look at it also at that more holistic approach of a citywide traffic pattern.
Okay. Appreciate it. I love the deflection, but that was good. With that said, though, I'm sure that as the rest of the council, including myself, will look forward really to seeing that, because that's going to be our next biggie, I think, that we've got to look at, is how do we tie our network of roads to accommodate the growth that we've committed to over the next couple of years. So thank you so much. My next question, Steve, has to do with the debt. I know we spent a lot of time at our summer retreat looking at how to model that and to pay down that debt. But between then and now, we've got money that's also been growing in interest. So you're looking, as if I heard you correctly say, we're going to pay that debt down in 2026. Is that correct?
The earliest time those bonds can be redeemed, if I recall, is 2026.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but I'm going off of memory on that one.
No, that's okay, and it doesn't have to be accurate. But what I'm thinking again further out into the future. Will that also give us opportunity then in 2027 or even 2028 to pay down even more of our debt because of the interest that's growing on the monies that we're currently accumulating as we pay down our debt in 2026?
It would probably be very dangerous for me to speculate on that one without access to the data and the experts. So that's a good question. I will bring the answer to that one back.
Okay.
We'll get that.
No, I appreciate it. I love the forward thinking that we've done so far on that. And if there's an opportunity again to take another look out to the future and say, hey, what's our next golden opportunity? I would think that this would be the year to look at that and then plan out 2 years from now to see what that picture looks like. Mr. Mayor, one last question and then I'm done. You talked about streets earlier in the presentation. I noticed we've got some great roads, especially 67th. They did a beautiful job on that. Yeah. I also see potholes that are popping up now in the city. So if we've got a plan to address those, that would be awesome. Short of that, thank you very much.
Thank you. And before I move on to the next council member, just real quick on that, I think that the mention of the next bonds, even if we had the money, we wouldn't pay them off because they're not due yet. And it would be not good for us to pay before they're due. And so we have talked, and the staff has a plan. I think it was Eric that explained that quite well a couple of times, and that is that there's a plan to look at those savings, whatever we have as far as ending fund balances, that we can later on pay some of those bonds when they become due later on, that they would be,
I wasn't advocating that we pay off, but if there's always a chance to pay down and then save, like we saved $4.1 million on payments on this first pay down, maybe there's another opportunity to make a little money on the second one.
So that'll be the question, Mr. Sagan, that is, can bonds be paid down without paying them off, and is that going to be of any significance, plus? Okay. Councilmember Worthington.
Thank you, Mayor Figueroa. Steve, thank you for the report. Of course, that was very good. And we've got 5 goals. So I lost track, but there's 30 to 50 different action steps that have been underway in the course of the 2 years to implement those. And there's been a tremendous amount of progress. Something certainly that, as one council member, I can feel very good about, if you will. And I appreciate your efforts and your staff's efforts to make that happen. It takes a strong team to be able to do that. And it takes, from the council, some focused, orchestrated, just intentional actions to make sure we stay on point And you've really made sure as well that we've been able to focus the energies and assets that we've put in place. And so we are seeing results, or sometimes those results will be coming in the next 6 months. In other cases, we've seen them already in place and achieved and achieving the things we wanted them to. So in a very big picture way, that's great. And some really very good work all the way around for everyone involved. It's great to be part of that. There's inevitably more to do in the next set of dragons to conquer. But we do get to have a few moments to recognize we've slayed a few dragons in this 2-year plan, not the least of which is prepared to pay off a significant portion of our debt, over half if I recall right. And, well, we may have to wait until those other bonds are callable, because I think that's at the heart of why we don't pay more. We still are on the edge of achieving something significant for our community and saving them, as Councilmember Fleming pointed out, for some $1 million in interest that doesn't have to be spent. At the same time, we get new sidewalks, we improve the environment and protection from sewers, we increase the economic viability of our community. These are all things that have lasting effect and help build our economy and tax base that keeps our citizens' quality of life up. So it's a complex thing, but it's good work. Thank you for getting it done for us, and I'm proud to be part of that. Very good. Your Honor, all yours.
Mayor Pro Tem Wood.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple things. First, you mentioned a couple of our anchor tenants, Trader Joe's, Whole Foods. Conversation recently, I was telling somebody else from UP, and they're like, "Oh, I go there for Trader Joe's all the time." It's just the comment they threw out there, and it's just people from all over the region come here for those anchor tenants and some of the other stores that we have in this area as well. And it's just very good to have that. Street grids, thank you for asking the question, Councilmember Fleming. I was actually on my list, so I'll cross that one off. Financial goals, I'm absolutely proud of what we were able to do as a city with our financial management and how prudent we have been, conservative, to be able to do that. And I think being able to save $4 million is a really good thing. And then, of course, I want to thank staff, our commissioners, our council, but most importantly, our citizens, because none of these goals are possible without a team effort. Public safety wouldn't happen without our citizens committing to support it financially. But honestly, they support financially everything we do, one way or another. And so, thank you. And our city is what it is because of everybody who's involved in paying attention and paying their taxes, and it's a good thing. So, concludes my comments. All right, thank you.
Councilmember McCluskey.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Well, audacious goals, audaciously done and executed. And I know there's some that have not been completed, but they're ongoing and will be completed in 2025-ish. Not only are these our goals and some of the action steps to take to get to these goals, but there's many more that your staff does that is not mentioned. Off the top of my head, emergency management and many others that we're not really aware, well, we are aware of, but they're not, can't dovetail readily or easily into the goals. So I just would like the citizens to know that this is only a vignette of a myriad of things that our city and staff does. On the paying down our debt, I am excited that we have the opportunity to do that, and I hope we do get to do that when we finally pull the trigger on it. And just to be cognizant that whatever savings that we have between now and then, our general fund will be rather limited. And so during those first few years, we need to have a cushion because we don't want any unforeseen economic downturns in our regional economy or our national economy to impact this wonderful forward traction that we have worked how many years on to get to this point in time, to be relieved of some of this debt, to have that burden lifted off of our citizens' pocketbooks, weighing down some of the goals and activities and infrastructure that our city can do will be quite amazing and will be transformational for our city. So I'm really excited about that. But of course, public safety. That is because you can't have all these wonderful things if people don't feel safe in our city. I can't say enough about what our public safety crew does, how they interact with their citizens, even when because they, after all, face their citizens in a time of hardship and passion, and they do it expertly well. So there was a report by our previous sheriff, and I just want to let the new sheriff that's coming to town know we want to keep our chief. We don't want him to go anywhere. So I just get that on the record. I would like to know a little bit more, and don't have to do it right now, about the incident action plans for events. I'm very curious about that. And also, when I was at the National League of Cities, I happened upon a booth from the DEA that talked particularly about fentanyl. So I'd like to know a little bit about the fentanyl town hall meeting that happened at UP School District. So I will be curious about those two things. Our infrastructure at Zork Park, that is amazing to see the transformation that's going to happen in 2024, the completion of the skate park, not only for the safety factor, but for the functionality, as well as the expansion of the use of the skate park. I also would like to encourage more grassroots, not only with our playground and infrastructure, but with our events as well, because that, as Councilmember Grassi mentioned, is always a win-win, and we know that once it's done, citizens really want it, which is the most important thing. Kobayashi driveway and paving, I just have to do a shout out. Beautifully done, and desperately needed. The irrigation, to save $250,000 in-house. That's amazing, and it also is kudos to how we think out of the box to save, because $250,000 can go a long ways to, let's say, replace even public works vehicles. Sunset Terrace parking. I have every other week, there is a few ladies that remind me about that, and they're excited it's being done, and they just want to know when, because they live in the neighborhood. So, and they have given me compliments about how well the city has managed that construction site, but unfortunately sometimes the users of the park disrespect it, which is sometimes an issue. I'm also curious about planning for street grids. I'd like to hear more about that, and hopefully how that dovetails into walkability and retail growth in some of those areas. The sewers, yay. And I'm also circling certain areas where I'll have some questions as how we can augment with other jurisdictions and maybe create a plan action forward to get some of those outlining areas sewered as well. I just got an idea a few moments ago. But anyway, I'm excited that we're growing in our chart, that it's more green than golden, which means we're more sewered, which will protect our environment. It's interesting that the mayor talked about See's Candy and how they have done their pilot stores in Green Firs. Green Firs is really strategic and important. It's a catalyst that we should keep in the back of our minds, as you probably do. We also need to be cognizant on the parking issue because they are doing so well that parking has become a problem, and that has transitioned some of the customers away. So that concerns me as we have all of these wonderful success stories. There is a parking area behind Green Firs to make it more safe, more accessible, and easier to use. I think would help augment that center. Just an FYI. And also, I talked to one of the See's Candy's representatives when they were designing out See's Candy, and some of the things that they mentioned was the See's Candy in the Tacoma Mall. They realized where in the zip codes people were purchasing their candies. So that may have a clue as to why they use our Green Firs as a pilot project for those 3 years.
Excuse me a moment, point of order. We're at 8:15 when we're supposed to adjourn. I'd like to move to extend our meeting by 15 minutes so everybody can comment.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Okay. Thank you. Another thing I would like to mention, because I think our economic development is driving, and we should not lose traction on who we have currently. And for example, Pearl Tea is a corporate store, and we may want to touch base with them to see how we can help them improve their business and traffic flow, and to encourage, because I think parking, not visibility, but I think parking might be a little issue there. So as we grow that area out, to be sensitive to how we can encourage people to actually stop and go in some of our retail mixed-use areas. Recreation, can't wait for that report to come back. That's all I'm going to say as well. Community engagement, wow, they just blow me away this year with how they spider-webbed out to capture all that of our citizens and our regional citizens that come to our events and are curious about University Place can become engaged and informed and proactive. And I believe I'm at the end of my comments of this amazing 2024 that has just passed. And I'm so excited because I think 2025 is just going to be more audacious.
Are you complete with your report?
Oh, yes. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you.
I forgot to conclude.
Yes. Okay,
I
thank
could
you.
go on and on, but I'll just stop right there.
Okay, thank you very much. Councilmember Boykin?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. City Manager, Mr. Suggs, outstanding report. Much more importantly, outstanding results. Really impressive. Excited about what I heard, excited about how it all came together, and just importantly excited about how my colleagues intimated that it has been the residents that also gave the wind, if you will, that undergirded not just the vision that put forth these goals, which have been spot on, but just as importantly, they share in the success that has been executed between you and your staff, and just excited about what that means for the city of University Place. So I won't go through the myriad of accomplishments. Again, outstanding results. But I do want to underscore that this doesn't just happen. There are absolutely smart decisions that are being put in front of people who are also invested, committed to City of University Place. And that success is what happens as a result when you really take the opportunity seriously. And you can say what you want, but many people, they try us, they like us. It's no accident. And I just want to appreciate the people who have leaned into the opportunity to underscore that possibility and to make that come to fruition. I really want to underscore also that it comes from a commitment that also preceded this council. So we've had really good examples in terms of how to be absolutely vigilant when it comes to our finances, when it comes to what we want to see as the future destination place of University Place. When we talk about recreation programs and what that's going to ultimately mean, when we keep that in the minds of people who want to serve and serve well on this council. So I just can't say enough of that and enough about that. So it really is a happy new year to conclude, and in that regard, it's a really great launching point for our 30th year of celebrating cityhood. And so we couldn't be, in my view, more positioned to do well and to honor our residents and citizens by our service, and just really excited about what we've been able to demonstrate this year by them trusting the opportunity that they provided to us and us being really responsive to what that has meant. So just excited about all of that. Really looking forward to seeing so much more. That concludes my report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you all. And Mr. Sugg, do you have any further comments or anything you'd like to, in behalf of this report, the goals?
No, Mr. Mayor, thank you for all council members, your comments and thoughts and questions. Always some follow-up to do. So, yeah, looking forward to continuing the conversation both on this and these items, as well as the upcoming 2025 goals, which we're going to talk about at the retreat.
Well, I don't have any further comments after all the comments we received. There were excellent comments. Thank you all, and have a happy new year. I look forward to working with everybody this coming year. And with no further business, this session is adjourned.